Sora Kanakura, a 15-year-old boy, had just passed the entrance exam for a prestigious school and was thrilled at the prospect of a bright future. However, his joy was short-lived when two men appeared at his door, demanding repayment of a debt that Sora's parents had left behind before fleeing. The amount was exorbitant, and the two men refused to leave until it was paid in full. With no means to pay, Sora was at their mercy, watching his future crumble before his eyes. Suddenly, a stunning and stylish girl, a gal, appeared out of nowhere, carrying a suitcase filled with money, the exact amount needed to settle the debt. Sora had never seen her before and was puzzled by her unexpected generosity. When the men asked if she was related to Sora, she simply told them to take the money and leave. The mysterious girl entered Sora's house while he tried to figure out her true intentions. Having always strived to be a decent person, despite likely being neglected by his parents, Sora's efforts seemed about to go to waste, until this gal saved him. Grateful, Sora vowed to repay the money as soon as possible, swearing by everything sacred. To his surprise, the girl responded that he didn't need to pay her back because she did it simply because she wanted to. Sora began to suspect that it might be a scam, especially since she already knew his name. Laughing, she assured him not to worry about the money, revealing that she had earned it with her own body. In disbelief, Sora hoped that this didn't mean what he thought it did. The only thing she wanted in return was for Sora to marry her, as, in her words, he belonged to her now, as if she had literally bought him. The situation wasn't looking favorable for Sora. The girl he had just met was coming on strong, but fortunately he managed to calm her down. Still confused, Sora asked what was really going on and why she wanted to marry him so suddenly. Her answer was straightforward. She loved him and had always loved him. Sora didn't understand immediately, but she quickly clarified, explaining that she had always noticed him delivering newspapers around the neighborhood, watching him work hard to support his family. I know it sounds crazy, but in the world of anime, waifus fall for hardworking guys. That was her reason for loving him. Even so, Sora couldn't help but think it might make more sense to start by dating rather than jumping straight into marriage. But to her, marrying someone she loved was a lifelong dream. She continued to praise him, admiring how, despite his financial struggles and juggling work with his studies, he had still managed to pass the entrance exam to one of the city's top high schools. These heartfelt words touched Sora deeply. In his life, no one had ever told him they were proud of his achievements. Feeling emotional, Sora asked for some time to get to know her better and respond properly. The girl was thrilled that her plan seemed to be working. Only then did Sora realize that he didn't know her name, and when he asked, she finally told him. Sora seemed to have won the life lottery. Not only had he landed an incredibly beautiful fiancée, but he also discovered that Luna Momose, his new partner, was extremely wealthy. She lived in a luxurious apartment, and from now on, Sora would live with her. As if that wasn't enough, Luna had hired a detective to find Sora's parents, informing them that she was about to marry their son and would take care of all the expenses. As a final gesture of generosity, she gifted her in-laws a trip around the world, which led to their approval of the marriage. Without Sora knowing, Luna had canceled the lease on his old house and had already moved all his belongings into the new apartment. After stepping out of the bath and entering the luxurious bedroom, with a bed big enough for two people, Sora reflected on the recent events, feeling both embarrassed and anxious. He could hardly believe he had gone from never having dated to being married and living with someone overnight. Soon, the empty side of the bed was filled by Luna, who entered the room and turned off the lights. Still smelling fresh from her bath, she hadn't completely dried off in her rush to see Sora before he fell asleep. Nervous, Sora couldn't even get close to her properly. Luna confessed that when she realized he had taken her confession seriously, she felt her heart tighten with emotion. On impulse, she almost kissed him but stopped, overwhelmed by a sudden wave of shyness. Sora wondered if this situation would become a daily occurrence and what their routine would be like going forward. He also had no idea what Luna did during the day. Finally, Sora explained that his days at his new school were about to start, and to his surprise, Luna would be attending the same school. The two would likely be classmates, meaning they would be spending nearly every moment together from now on. The next day, Sora's future wife was already in the spotlight in front of the whole class. She was the representative of the freshmen and part of the popular group. Sora, feeling anxious, wanted to stay out of her way. Sora bumped into an old friend from middle school who noticed that Sora seemed to be hiding something. Curious, the friend asked why, and after some hesitation, Sora revealed the reason. His friend was obviously confused and a bit alarmed, thinking that Sora might have unknowingly married someone dangerous, especially since Luna hadn't shared any personal details about herself, yet knew everything about him. Before long, Luna showed up and immediately asked if they could leave together or have lunch as a couple. The class quickly started whispering about why they were talking. To avoid more attention, Sora grabbed Luna's arm and led her to a quiet place where they could talk in private. He explained that if people found out about their relationship, it might damage her reputation since she was the complete opposite of him in terms of social status. Luna was deeply disappointed, as her biggest wish was to proudly display their love to the whole school and on social media. Sora, feeling guilty, was about to reconsider when Luna came up with a good reason to keep things low-key. Keeping their relationship a secret would reduce the chances of a rival girl getting in the way. As she put it, just like money attracts money, girls attract other girls. Convinced by her own argument, she agreed. Sora promised to find a way for them to at least maintain some discreet contact at school, since it wouldn't be fair for a couple living together to act completely detached. Luna found his gesture adorable, and the two reached a mutual agreement. We still don't know much about Luna's background, except that she's not very good at cooking, having grown up in a wealthy environment where she never had to learn. The couple initially relied on takeout, but Sora, frustrated with the situation, decided to take matters into his own hands and start cooking meals for them, while also tackling some household chores. As they worked on their living arrangements, they created a list of tasks and areas for improvement. Luna soon recognized that their relationship lacked a certain spark, suggesting that Sora needed to flirt with her, as she had been trying to do. She felt her efforts weren't being met with the same enthusiasm and emphasized that they needed to increase their physical intimacy. Sora hesitated, concerned that he shouldn't act too impulsively until he had improved his own life. But Luna convinced him that ignoring her desires would be detrimental to their relationship. To assist them in deepening their connection, Luna discovered an online guide outlining steps for couples to enhance their intimacy. The first step was straightforward, holding hands. The second step involved hugging, which made Sora feel a bit shy. The third step was to share a kiss. Luna offered her cheek, which she considered a sufficient gesture. Although Sora was still unsure, he found himself captivated by Luna's calm demeanor, suspecting that she had more relationship experience than he did. Eventually, he managed to kiss her, but felt embarrassed about his own inexperience. Unbeknownst to Sora, Luna might not be as seasoned in relationships as he believes. The next step in the guide seemed too daunting for now, so they agreed to take their time before progressing further. A month had passed since Sora and Luna started living together. However, recently, Sora had become more distant. He stopped walking back from school with Luna, making up excuses like needing to leave earlier or stay behind to help a teacher. Even on Saturdays, he claimed to need to study alone. Luna grew suspicious, wondering if Sora was hiding something serious. She even considered going back to her stalker tendencies or hiring a detective, but decided against it. One of her friends had just broken up with her boyfriend because her overbearing behavior had scared him off, much like Luna's could be. Thinking that might be the issue, Luna figured that perhaps the solution was to give Sora more space and not be so overbearing. However, something else began to worry her. When she saw her friends cleaning a classroom, she suddenly remembered that in the first days of living together, Sora had taken on the responsibility of cleaning their apartment. Luna began to fear that Sora might have found something in her room that he shouldn't have seen, fueling the possibility that her friend's suspicions were correct. Maybe Luna was hiding something dangerous. During dinner, Luna couldn't hide her worry very well. Her expression gave away her unease, and Sora asked if the food might have been bad, assuming it was the cause. Finally, Luna gathered her courage and asked what was really going on. Sora tried to come up with some excuses, but Luna could tell he wasn't being truthful. Luna opened up, expressing how she felt about Sora growing distant and how it was hurting her. She wondered if it was her fault for having pressured him with the whole marriage and living together situation, or perhaps because he had entered her room and discovered a terrible secret. Hearing this, Sora sincerely apologized, feeling regret for his behavior, and assured her that he hadn't entered her room, as he would never do that without permission. Then, to Luna's surprise, Sora pulled out a beautiful ring from his pocket and showed it to her. He had been working all this time to buy her the ring. While it wasn't expensive enough to last forever, it was the best he could afford. Luna's relief came with an outpouring of tears, along with guilt for thinking such terrible things about him. She was overwhelmed with happiness. Sora placed the ring on her finger and told her that if his behavior ever became bad again, she should tell him so he could improve, and they could grow as husband and wife. Later that night, Sora was lying in bed, content with having given her the ring and thinking that he should be more careful with surprises in the future to avoid stressing her out again. However, what came next was something he hadn't expected. Luna appeared in his room with a request. Luna appeared completely enamored, eager to spend the night with Sora. Even after he reiterated his earlier statement about waiting for a more responsible time for intimacy, Luna expressed that she didn't want to wait any longer. She claimed that, in her eyes, Sora was already mature enough, and accidentally let slip that she had been observing him for a long time. Sora, intrigued by her words, realized that he knew very little about Luna's past. Despite feeling unsure, he didn't want to disregard her feelings, so he finally gave in to her wishes. Nervously, Sora admitted that it was his first time, believing that Luna must have had previous experiences with other men. To his surprise, Luna began trembling and confessed that it was also her first time. Laughing, Sora asked why she acted so confidently and teased him constantly. Luna replied that she only did it because she enjoyed provoking him, and it had nothing to do with any real experience with boys. In the end, Sora suggested that it might be better for them to wait a bit longer, maybe until they were more mature. Luna agreed that this was probably the best course of action, but asked if Sora would still stay with her even if he found out things about her that weren't pleasant. Sora reassured her, saying that they could face anything together and overcome it. To be honest, I think our protagonist is in an isekai. Think about it. He was on the verge of becoming a slave, likely working until his death. That would have been his ultimate fate. But then, like a guardian angel, someone appears and rescues him, taking him from poverty to extreme luxury, along with a wife who loves him unconditionally. It's very likely he's in another world. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on the story. And for those who want to support the channel, you can make a donation. As a thank you, I can create a video exactly the way you request. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.